206 bones in the human body, and together the bone structure holds the body together. So the healthier the joints, the body parts will be mobile for longer. So ignore the orthopedic health at your own peril. Welcome back to Rainbow Presents Body and Mind. Through our show, we try to show you different ways you can remain fit and healthy. But for those of you who may have a few pre-existing health conditions which you may or may not be aware of, today we're going to highlight just a few of them, particularly with regard to your orthopedic health. And to shed some light on that, I'm joined by Dr. Mohsin from Eye Care Clinic. Doctor, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, there's a general believe that there isn't enough awareness when it comes to orthopedic health, which you agreed with me. Tell me a little bit about the different issues people face with regard to it.
Usually the people are coming to us with problems related to joints, like joint pains, and then backache and osteoporosis.
Now, what are some of the things that lead to these pains? I mean, is it aging, is it exertion, or is it lack of exertion?
Basically, aging is one of the biggest factors, but now we're seeing all of these conditions even in younger people. So I can say lack of exertion, maybe lack of fitness is something that really causes this. Sometimes overexerting also causes it, because in that way it's like an injury. Some people who are sedentary for most of their life can just get enthusiastic and join a boot camp for that matter, and
overnight.
then start exercising, and then can hurt themselves. So basically the fitness of the body is what is important.
Okay, so as you mentioned, there are a whole range of reasons why people can develop aches in their body. Let's start off by talking about osteoporosis. What is it and what causes it?
Osteoporosis is basically lack of the bone mineral density, or the basically lack of the calcium in the structure of the bone, which causes the bone to become weak and makes it brittle. So it is more prone to a fracture or breaking, for that matter.
And is aging the primary factor for this?
Aging is one of the major factors. Apart from that, there's the hormonal changes. This is most common in women who are beyond 50 years of age, and also in men. People think that it's not present in men, but it's also there, but that happens a little later, like in their 70s.
Now, another very common orthopedic condition is arthritis, which affects 1 in every 10 people as per some of the studies that have been conducted. Tell us a little bit about what it is.
Arthritis is basically wearing of the joint. So again, the most important factor would be aging, and then injuries throughout life can also do that. And then if you're unfit and you're obese, that can also have a major factor in developing arthritis.
Okay. Now, of all the causes you've just mentioned, aging is of course inevitable. But let's talk about some of the changes that we can proactively make. So let's start with diet, for example.
Yeah.
How can we improve our lifestyle, and what are the sort of nutrients we should incorporate in our diet in order to prevent these conditions?
I mean, it's common knowledge that calcium makes up most of the bone. So apart from having a balanced diet, incorporating calcium containing foods like dairy products is very important, like milk, cheese, butter is very important in improving bone health.
Is it okay to take the calcium supplements, or is it better to have the direct source of calcium?
Natural products are definitely the way to go. But if somebody has a deficiency, then we'll use the supplements to make up for what they can't, because of course then they would require a concentrated dose of these supplements.
Okay. Now, diet is one thing. Fitness is a whole nother story. You mentioned that, of course, if you decide to go to a gym one fine morning, and if you injure yourself, that can cause some aches. But you read so many blogs which tell you this is good, that is not good. I've particularly read that running can cause eventually over a few years down the line cause joint pain and especially damage your knee. Is there any fact in that?
I mean, excess of anything is bad, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just jogging or brisk walking or running for fitness, then it's not a bad thing. But of course, if you're overdoing it or you're doing it on a surface which can actually hurt the joint, then of course.
Okay, so it's not completely avoidable, but at the same time, everything in moderation, you would say.
Is what is required.
Now, you mentioned sedentary lifestyle, which a lot of us might be guilty of. Now, the definition of sedentary can be quite different because, everyone has a different perception about what sedentary is. How would you define it?
Basically, you can look all around you, and that's what it is. We are mostly working desk jobs. By the end of the day, you come back home, you're already mentally tired, and then you just sit on a sofa, watch television, have food, and then sleep. So if you do not have any even the smallest exercise routine in your day, then you're sedentary.
So, doctor, what are some of the ways we can prevent having any sort of orthopedic issues by improving our lifestyle?
The most important change that one needs to make is to make your body fit.
Yeah.
That can be by introducing a small exercise routine, just like simple walking for about 25 to 30 minutes a day can make your body fit, your muscles supple, and then you're less prone to injuries, and your bones will be stronger, your joints will be stronger.
Well, Dr. Mohsin has nailed it truly down to the bare bone. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. That was some great advice.
Thank you.
Orthopedic health, one that cannot be ignored at any cost. Now, speaking of costs, it's time for a commercial break.